I have now completed the 70 rows, as I was saying. So I've just completed row number 72. Next row for me will be row number 73, and this is how the piece looks like so far. I'm just going to do a measurement so we can double check. I was estimating around 36-37 centimeters, so hopefully I have achieved that. And I have 36 centimeters without 1 millimeter. Yeah, so 36 centimeters, so I'm happy with that. It's what I was expecting. So I have completed 70 rows. Like I said, you can see here I've continued with the twisting of the cable, and I also changed a ball of yarn already. So somewhere around here my first ball of yarn ran out, so this is the second one. Now we're gonna start doing some shaping, but before we do that, I'm just gonna continue work for a few more rows. And next is row number 73, and it's a right side row. If your tension is different than mine and you don't have 36 centimeters from the cast on point, yeah, so from here where we started with the legs all the way up here, if you haven't achieved 36 centimeters, then you can continue to knit and do, let's say, one more cable repeat. So continue. I had my last cable twist on row number 69. So if you don't have the 36 centimeters, don't worry, just continue and do one more cable repeat and then work 3 more rows normally, and do another measurement and then pick up and continue as I'm going to do now. So if you have different tension, it's no problem, just continue in the pattern for a few more rows so you can achieve that that measurement, so we will have a good fit. So I will continue working with row number 73 in my case, the next row, after I have completed my 36 centimeters, and I will slip the first stitch. And I'm going to reintroduce the ribbing pattern. So this one, the one we used at the beginning for the legs, like elastic. So I'm gonna do the simple one, or the single ribbing, exactly like this one. And I'll start with purl 1. This is the right side of the work. Purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. So it's just ribbing, and I will continue with this rib pattern over the cables as well. So starting with this row, I am stopping the cable pattern, so I'm just introducing this rib pattern. I'm going to continue until the end of the row. I have completed this row, as you can see, and I just wanted to show you what I was saying. So I'm stopping the cable, and I have worked in ribbing stitch, sorry, over the cables as well. So here it is. That's it. No more cable twisting, we're just working in ribs, so I am stopping this one. Next is row number 74. It's a wrong side row, so turn the work around, and I'm going to continue with the rib pattern. Slip my first stitch, and I'm going to purl all the purls and knit all the knitted stitches. So purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, and just continue with the rib pattern, exactly what I've done down here for the legs. It's exactly the same. I am going to finish this row all around. Yeah, so on row 74 I'm gonna finish all this, and then I am going to work 6 more rows. So we're gonna have a total of 8 rows in the ribbing pattern. So I'm gonna finish this one, and then I'll meet you again on row number 81. So continuing rib pattern for another 6 rows after finishing this one. I'll just do that behind the camera. I have completed my rows in rib pattern, and this is how the project is looking like at the moment. So starting to take shape, and this is how it looks. I have decided I will prefer this ribbed area a little bit more wider. So next is row number 81, and I'm going to do one more row of rib pattern, and after that we will continue the work. So I'll do one more of rib pattern, one more row. So one more row. We are on the right side of the work, and I'm just gonna repeat one more. I do apologize about this. I just prefer if it's a little bit wider. I just think it's shaping up very well without decreasing on this tiny part. So I'm just going to continue with this one until I finish my row. I have completed my last row of rib stitch, so turn my work around. Next is row number 82, and it's a wrong side row. I'm going to slip the first stitch, and then I'm just going to knit all the stitches. So I'm basically reintroducing garter stitch. So I'm just going to knit all the stitches. I just want to remind myself and you that we have 132 stitches, the same amount that we had after we joined the legs. So we haven't done any increasing, any decreasing since we was working on the legs. The entire piece was just straightforward. So because next I'm going to start doing some separations for back and front panels. So I'll continue to finish this one. Just knit all the stitches all the way across. I have completed my row. I've knitted all the stitches, and now I'm just going to turn around and I will be on the front of the work. Before I do that, I'll just like to explain a little bit, because the construction of this, I believe, it's a little bit different than other things that I've seen. So next on the next row, I'm gonna start placing some markers, because I just want to start segregating the work for front panel and back panel. But because we're working all this in only one piece like this, I'm just going to place some markers to guide me through the next process, so I'll know exactly where the front panel will go and then where the back panel will go, because these panels, after I do the shaping for underarm, they're going to be worked separately. So like I mentioned before, we started the work with 132 stitches. So row 83, it's next row, it's where I'm going to, it's a right side, and I'm going to place markers. The only difference is I just want to make it clear, because my work has this shape and is opened at the back. I have no talent at sketching or anything like that. I have 132 stitches, and I would like to have 2 symmetrical panels. So divided by 2, that will be 66 stitches for each panel. This part here, it's the front, because I'm gonna leave the opening. I'm gonna sew it at the end, and I wanted that to be in the back. So I will have 66 stitches front panel, and I'll have 66 stitches for the back. But because it's opened here, I'm gonna segregate that in two. So I'm gonna have 33 on one side plus 33 stitches on the other side. So I'm gonna place two markers, and then the pattern itself will be on the front. They're gonna be a new set of cables just for the front panel, as purely decorated. So I have here two stitch markers, and on my next row, which is row number 83, I'm just gonna place them. Okay, so row number 83, slip the first stitch, knit 32 stitches. So I'm just going to count them. So we need to have a total of 33 on this side before I place my first marker. Okay, so slip 1, knit 32. I have knitted my stitches, so I have a total of 33 stitches on this side. So I'm just going to place my marker and continue to knit 66 stitches. So 66 stitches until I'm going to place my next marker. So just simply knit. This is going to be the front panel. So knit 66. Knitted 66 stitches, yeah, from my marker. And it's time to place my second one. Again, the marker is landing on the middle of the cable because it's symmetrical. So place my marker, and now I'm going to knit the remaining 33 stitches because I got 33 stitches on this side as well. So just knit until the end of the row, 33 stitches on this side. I have completed my row. Now I'm just gonna turn my work around. Next row in my case, it's row number 84, and it's a wrong side row. I'm gonna slip the first one, and then I'm just gonna knit all the stitches until I reach my marker. So knit until I reach the marker. Reach my marker, I'm just gonna slip it all on my needle, and next I'm going to knit 12. So knit 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And now I'm gonna start a new set of cables. I'm just gonna double check 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And I'm going to introduce a new set of cables for the front panel. So I'm going to purl 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 2, 4, 6. So purl 6, knit 3, 2, and 3, purl another 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 2, 4, 6, knit 3 again, 2 and 3, purl 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, knit 3, 2 and 3, purl another 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We should have 5 new cables altogether, so I'm just gonna count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to do one more. I just done a set of 6 purled stitches. I'm gonna knit 3 again, 2 and 3, and then purl 6 for the last cable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and now I should have 12 stitches left for knitting. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So the same like here. After the marker I've knitted 12, and then I started introducing the 5 cables, and now I have to knit 12 to reach my marker. So I'm just gonna knit 12, and once I've reached the marker I'm just gonna slip it over and continue knitting until the end of my row. This is a wrong side row, and I just introduced the pattern for the front panel. So I've knitted 12. I'm going to slip the marker off. Okay, and knit the remaining 33 stitches for the other side of the back of our work. So I'm just gonna knit till the end of the row. Completed the row. Next is row number 85 in my case. I'm gonna slip the first stitch. This is a right side row. I'm going to knit to my marker. So knit, I slipped 1, knit 32, reach the marker. I'm just gonna move it. Next I'm going to knit 12 until I reach my first cable. Knit 12, and I'm gonna start doing the twisting of the cable on this row, the cables. So just knit 12, 11, 12. I just reached my first one. You can't really see it just yet, but it's starting to form. Once I start doing the twists, it will be more visible. So I'm gonna do a front cable, same like I was doing here on the side. So just gonna keep similarity. I'm just gonna do it my short way by moving the stitches around using just my 2 needles without a spare one. But of course you just you can do these cables whichever way you prefer, or it's easier for you. So I've just twisted them around, same like I've done here. The 3, I kept the first 3 in the front of the work. I picked up the 3 from the back, and I just swapped them around. Now I'm just gonna knit them in their new order. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 stitches cable. Next I need to knit 3, the separation ones, because we got 5 cables and they're separated by 3 knitted stitches in between. And I've reached my second cable here. Again, I'm just gonna slowly release 6 stitches. I pick up the 3 first, keeping them in the front of the work, and then I pick up the 3 from the back like this, and I just transfer them on my needle, and I'm just gonna knit them in their new order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Next is knit 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we have 3 more cables which I'm going to make behind the camera. So there is one here, there is another one here, and another one here. Between them we have 3 knitted stitches, and then we have to knit 12 to reach the marker, slip the marker off, and then knit the last 33 to finish off the row. So for the cables it's nothing different than it was here. It's the same technique. So I'm just going to continue. Like I said, I'm going to do the twisting on my 3 cables, knit the stitches between them, knit the 12, slip off the marker, knit 33 to reach the end of my row. Completed the row. Next is row number 86. It's a wrong side row, so I'm just going to slip the first one. I'm going to knit all the stitches to reach my marker. And then it's identical to row number 83, if I'm not wrong. So I'm just going to knit until the marker, then I'm going to slip the marker, knit 12, and then I'm going to have to purl all the 6 stitches sets for the cables. I have knitted my marker, slipped the marker, then I've knitted my 12 stitches to reach my first cable, and now I'm going to purl 6 stitches for the first cable. I purl 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one 6. Then knit 3, the separation stitches, 1, 2 and 3, purl 6 again for the cable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, knit the separation stitches, 3 stitches, 2 and 3, once more a new cable, so purl 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, another separation little section of 3 stitches, 2 and 3, one more cable, we got a total of 5. After this row they will be more visible, so I've purl 3 more, 2 and 3, and the last separation section, 3 of them, 2 and 3, and the last cable, purl 6, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now I'm going to knit the rest of the stitches. So I got 12 for my first marker, then I slip marker and knit 33 to finish the row. So now it's only knits and we're just slipping off the marker. I have completed the row and turned my work around. Next is row number 87. And this row, it's just knit all the stitches. So slip the first one and then knit across the entire row. When you reach the markers, just slip them off, just move them from one needle to the other. Soon they will prove their purpose there. So just knit across the entire row, continue to knit, slip off the markers. Completed my row. Next is row number 88 on the wrong side, and I'm going to knit until I reach my marker and then slip off the marker. It's basically the same rule like the previous one that I've done. So I'm going to knit to the marker, slip the marker, knit 12 until I reach my first, so knit 12. When I reach my first cable, I'm gonna purl 6, then knit 3 between the cables, then purl 6, knit 3, purl 6, and so on for all 5 of them, and then knit 12, slip the marker off, knit the remaining 33. It's identical to row number 87, well, 86, sorry, 86, the one we knitted together. So I'm just going to finish off this row and get back to you. Completed my row. Next is row number 89, and row number 89, it's a right side row. I'm just going to knit all the way, so I'm just going to knit all the stitches and slip the markers. Row 89 now completed. Next is row number 90, wrong side row. Once more I am just going to slip the first stitch, knit to my marker, slip my marker. Just in case you are wondering why I'm using these markers, because they don't seem to have any purpose at the moment, I just kept them in place more for orientation, to make sure that for the right panel I don't go off any stitches left or right, and it just helps visually orientate where the back panel will start, and the front one as well. So that's why I kept them. I'm just gonna knit until I reach my marker, slip the marker, knit 12, then purl 6 for the cable, yeah, because we need all the stitches on the front, but on the wrong side we need to purl these sets of 6 stitches for the cables. So that's all I'm going to do. Knit, slip the marker, knit 12, purl 6, knit 3, purl 6, knit 3, do the same until the last cable, knit 12, slip the marker off, and knit the remaining 33 stitches. Row number 90 now completed. This is how the work looks like right now. I'm gonna make a measurement. I cannot fit everything, the entire project, it's getting bigger, but you can see here it's measuring almost 41 centimeters. 41 centimeters, yeah, from the cast on point. So happy with that one. Now it's time to actually segregate the back panel and the front panel, because I'm going to work separate. So next is row number 91 in my case, and I'm just going to work as it follows. Row number 91 is the row when I'm actually gonna start shaping under the arms, and we're gonna separate the two panels, the front and the back one, and it's also a cable twisting row, so we're gonna have some cable twisting. First thing first, I'm gonna slip the first stitch. I'm going to knit 29, 1, so knit 29 plus the slipped stitch, we have to have 30, so I'm gonna stop 3 stitches before the marker. I have finished knitting my 29 stitches. I have 3 stitches left until the marker, so what I'm going to do now, I'm gonna slip my next stitch, knit the following one, and then the slip stitch, I'm just gonna pass it over my knitted one, because I'm gonna start doing a series of cast offs. So we're gonna cast off a total of 6 stitches. I just casted off 1. Next I'm going to knit 1, pass my previous stitch over, and that makes it 2 cast offs so far. I can now remove the marker, knit my next one, slip the previous stitch over, so that makes it cast off 3, knit 1, slip my previous stitch over, cast it off 4, knit the next one, pass the stitch over, so cast it off 5, knit 1, and pass the previous one over, and now we casted off 6 stitches altogether, 2, 4, and 6. Now I have 1 stitch left here which has been knitted, so now I need to knit the next 8 to reach my cable, so I'm going to have 9 stitches altogether. So just going to knit until I reach the cable. This will result in a total of 9 stitches. Okay, last one, and I've reached my cable. And we can see here we have 30 stitches left on this side because we casted off 3 from this side. Now 3 from the other side. We have 9 knitted stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And now I reach the cable. And like I said at the beginning, this is a twist row, so I'm going to have to twist my cables to the front as usual. Just going to pick up my first 3 and the 3 stitches in the back, same as usual, swap them around on my needle. There we go, and then I'm just going to knit them. One, something happened here, I've twisted my stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to knit the 3 stitches between the cables. 1, 2, and 3. Now I have another cable to twist, so we have 4 more cables left. I'm just going to do the cable twisting, and I'm going to meet you after the last one. I have completed all my cable twists now, and next I am going to knit 9 stitches. So knit 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I've knitted 9 stitches. I'm just going to double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Next we need to cast off another 6 stitches. So I'm going to slip my next stitch. I'm going to knit the following one, and then pass the slipped stitch over the one I just knitted, and this way I've just casted off 1 stitch. Knit the next one and repeat the same thing. Just slip the previous stitch over, cast it off 2. I'll remove the marker, knit next one, slip the previous stitch again, cast it off 4, knit 1, pass the previous one over, cast off 5, knit 1, pass the previous one over, and we should have 6 stitches casted off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Sorry about that. So casted off 5, we have one more to do. Bad counting. Okay, now we casted off 6 all together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm just gonna knit until I reach the end of my row. And we should have a total of 30 stitches left on this side after all the cast-offs. So I'm gonna complete the row. Completed my row. As you can see now, we have a gap here and a gap here where we casted off the stitches. So we are no longer able to work back and forward. So I am going to leave my stitches on hold, because this part here and this part here, we're gonna form the back panel, and these ones here are my front panel, which I'm going to work first. So now I'm just going to pass all my stitches on a stitch holder. If you don't have something like this, you can just use some contrast color yarn, for example, or a pair of spare circular needles. It's better with the circular needles or just a cable, because the stitches are not going to fall off so easily. If you use like a double pointed, there is a chance you might lose some stitches. So I'm just transferring all my stitches here, the 30 stitches, until I reach the cast off area, which is going to be the underarm area. So I have 30 stitches here. They're gonna remain behind the work, and 30 stitches on this side too. Like I said, if you don't have a stitch holder, you can thread some contrast color yarn through a knitting needle and then just pick up all the stitches. I'm just gonna transfer these as well. At this point we will be cutting the yarn, that unless you have a spare ball of yarn, and I'm not going to be able to knit back and forward anymore on this part, so I'm going to cut the yarn and rejoin it to work just the front panel. Okay, 30 and 30, so altogether we got 60 stitches for the back panel, and we have 60 stitches remaining on my main working needles for the front panel. I'm just going to detach my yarn from here. This is my active yarn where I finished the row. I'm gonna leave a generous tail because I'm planning to use that tail to sew the project up. Sorry, it's tangled a little bit. So here is the back, and I'm gonna leave a long tail so I can sew together this baby dungaree, this project. So I'm gonna leave a generous tail here. Hopefully it will be enough to sew the project at the end. And I'm just gonna cut off the yarn, leave these behind. And next, because we just completed the front or the right side row, next I'm going to join the yarn here so I can start working on the wrong side row, which will be the next one, because we just completed a right side. So now we have to work a wrong side row. I'm ready to start the first row on the wrong side of the front panel. I'm just going to reset my counter because it only goes up to 100 anyway, and I'm gonna call this one row number 1, row number 1 of the front panel. So we are on the wrong side. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to slip the first stitch, And then I have here my yarn. I'm just gonna join in and knit the next one. Now I just want to cast off 3, so the one I just slipped, the first stitch, I'm just going to pass over the one I just knitted. So now I've casted off 1. Next knit 1 and pass the previously knitted stitch over. So I casted off 2 right now. Knit 1 and pass the previous stitch over again, and that makes it a cast off of 3. After this, I'm just gonna knit the remaining stitches until I reach my cable. I have 5 stitches plus the one already on the needle. That makes it 6 stitches altogether, but this one was already knitted, so I'm just gonna knit the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and now I've reached my cable. It's here, so I have to purl 6 as usual because the cable pattern still continues. Got 2 purls, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I got the 3 stitches separating the cable. I'm just gonna knit them. Next there is another cable of 6 stitches, so I will purl 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And there we go. Purl my knit my next 3, the separation ones, then purl another 6, another cable here, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Knit 3 again. 1, 2 and 3. Purl 6. We have 2 more cables, so this is one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and number 6. Knit the 3 between the cables, separation ones. 1, 2 and 3. Purl the next 6 stitches, the last cable for the front panel. 2, 3, 4. I counted wrong again, I don't know what's wrong with me. 2, 4, 5, 6, last one. And now I'm gonna knit the remaining 9 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8 and 9. Yeah, exactly like we had left after the marker, after we done the cast offs. So knit all 9. To complete this row. And my last stitch. Now I'm going to turn the work around because we are only working on the front panel of this project. Next is row number 2 of this front panel, and I just started here with a cast off of 3, and I'm going to do the same here on this side. I'm just gonna cast off 3 stitches. So slip my first stitch, knit the next one, pass the slipped one over the cast off one, knit my next stitch, pass the previous one over, second cast off, and knit 1, pass over again for the third cast off, and now we're gonna have 6 stitches remaining here before the cable. So this is 1, and then we have 5 here as well, so it makes it symmetrical because we have 6 stitches on this side too. For the rest of the row, I'm just going to knit all the stitches. So knit all the stitches until the end of the row. I have completed my row. Now I've turned around. Next is row number 3 of the just front panel side. I'm going to slip my first stitch, knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I've reached my first gable. I'm going to purl 6, and then I'm going to work into the pattern as usual. 5, 6, double checking because today seems like I cannot count properly. I do apologize for that. Next I'm gonna knit the 3, the separation ones, purl 6, knit 3, purl 6, knit 3, purl 6, knit 3, purl 6, and knit the last 6 stitches. So no decreases, nothing, we just follow the pattern for this row. So I'm just going to complete this one behind the camera. I have turned around the work. Next is now row number 4. So I'm going to slip the first stitch, knit 3, twist this one, 1, 2 and 3, my third stitch. Next I'm going to knit 2 together, so just before the cable I'm doing a knit 2 together here. So I'm just going to introduce my needle like this, and I'm just going to knit both of them as if one. Next I'm going to knit all the stitches until I finish the last cable, and then I'm going to do another knit 2 together. So continue knitting until after the last cable, and then we'll do a knit 2 together. I have finished with the cables, and next I'm going to knit 2 together. I'm just going to introducing, depending on the method you are working with. I knit in Portuguese method, so this is how I do the knit 2 together. So just reduce, it's a decrease just next to the cable. So I've knitted 2 together. Now I'm going to knit the remaining 4, 3 and 4, last one, and I'm going to turn the work around for the next row, a wrong side row, row number 5. Row number 5, slip the first stitch, then knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is the stitch we just decreased, it's here, so I'm just gonna knit it. Instead of 2 we now have only 1, and purl 6 for the cable as usual. Got 3 left. Knit the 3 between the cables, and just continue as usual. This is the wrong side row, so just knit 3, purl 6 here, and continue in the pattern. Oh, 2 more I got. 1, 2, and I'm just going to continue until I finish. There are no decreases on this row. Row number 6 of the the front panel is next. I'm going to slip my first stitch, knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then I have a cable twist. This is the 6th row, so we have to twist the cable. So I'm gonna do that as usual, picking up the first 3 through the front, next 3 to the back, swap them around and knit them in their new order. 1, 2 and 3 from the back, and then there are the 3 from the front. 2 and 3, and that's a cable twist done. Next, knit 3 separation ones and continue with the cable twisting, and once that's completed, just knit the last 5 stitches to complete the row. Next row, row number 7, on the wrong side of the work, slip the first stitch, knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, then purl 6 for the cable that we just twisted, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, then knit 3 here, 2, 3 and then purl 6. So we just continue in the pattern. We don't have decreases on this row. All decreases I'm going to make will be on the right side of the work. So on the wrong side we're just following the usual pattern, and then on the right side we're going to do some decreases as well to continue with the shaping. So I'm just going to complete this row, and I'm going to meet you on the next one, which will be on the right side of the work. So I nearly finished this cable. Yeah, I have one. So just continue in the usual pattern, knit 3, purl 6, knit 3, purl 6, knit the last 5, and I'll meet you on the next row. Next will be row number 8, on the right side of the work, slip the first stitch and then knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then knit 2 together from the cable. So slowly we are going to reduce this cable, this one here and this one here, as we continue with our work to just shape up the front panel. So I've just knitted 2 together, so slip 1, knit 4, knit 2 together and knit the remaining stitches until you reach this, the last 2 stitches of the last cable. So you're going to do a symmetrical decrease. Decreases 2 stitches. I decrease 2 stitches from this cable. I'm going to decrease 2 stitches from this one too. So all the decreases are going to be symmetrical, so the panel will shape up nicely. So I'm just going to knit as usual until I reach the last 2 stitches of my last cable. Reach the last 2 stitches of my last cable, and I'm going to knit 2 together and knit my remaining 5 stitches. Okay, and I finished this row. Next is row number 9, on the wrong side of the work. I'm going to start by knitting 5, well, slip 1, knit 4. So slip 1, knit 4, 2, 3 and 4. Next is the stitch that we just reduced, and it's a purl stitch because our cable only has 5 stitches now. So I'm just going to continue to purl for this one until it kind of disappears by itself. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So our cable only has 5 stitches left now because we reduced 1. and then knit the 3 for the separation gap, purl 6, the 3 cables in the middle are going to remain, and we're going to reduce the 2 cables on the sides slowly as we work. So continue to work, just be careful because the last cable has 5 purled stitches, and then there's 5 knits to finish off the row. Row number 10 next. Right side of the work, slip the first one, knit 4, so we're just continuing with this edge here. So knit 4, and then knit the next 2 together. So we're continuing reducing our cable here. So knit them 2 together, knit the next 3, 2 and 3, knit the gap, continue knitting until you get to these last 2 stitches. So now we have an asymmetrical cable formed of 5 stitches as we reduced one. So we're going to reduce one more here. So continue to knit until these last 2. I have reached the last 2 stitches here. I'm going to knit them 2 together as being one, and then knit the last 5 to complete the row as usual. And this row is now complete. Turn the work around. Row number 11, the wrong side row. I'm just going to slip first stitch, then knit my 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we have to purl what's left of this cable. So I'm going to purl 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, knit the separation 3 stitches here, 2, 3, and then purl for the next cable, which is a normal one of 6. So the 3 cables in the middle have remained unchanged. It's only the side ones that get reduced one by one. So when you reach this one, just be careful because now it's a purl 4, so only a purl 4, and then finish off the row as usual, and I'll meet you on the right side of the work. Row number 12 next, front side or right side of the work. I'm not going to do any decreases on this row, but it's also a cable twisting row. Okay, so I'm going to slip the first stitch, knit 4 stitches to reach my little cable here, what's left of it anyway, 2, 3 and 4. I'm not going to do any decreases, but what I'm going to do instead, because it's a twisting cable twisting row, I'm just going to twist this little one. So instead of a 6 stitches cable, I'm going to make a 4 stitches cable. So I'm going to twist 2 by 2, so pick up the 2 through the front and the 2 from the back. This way the work is not going to look strange, but it's just this cable is going to get smaller until it actually disappears. So that's the effect I want to achieve here. So I just twisted 2 and 2. So instead of doing the twist with 3 stitches, we're just making it with 2. I pick the 2 through the front, and now I have these ones through the back, and I'm just going to knit them in their new order. So this is just a little trick, so the pattern will continue to look nicely and will give a nice end to these disappearing, sort of disappearing cables. Continue by knitting 3, these 3, separation ones, and then a normal cable twist of 6 stitches. Continue to knit 3, do the normal cable twist for 6 stitches for this one, and I'll meet you on the last one, the little one. I have completed the twists on my 3 normal cables, and I've reached the little one now, and I'm just going to do the twisting like I've done with the first one. So pick up the first 2 through the front, then the next 2 through the back. Okay, I have them like this, and swap them around. There we go. I'm just going to knit them in this new order. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and knit the remaining 5 stitches to finish off my row. And this was it. Okay, and this is how it looks like so far. I'm quite happy with the way they look. Rather than a sudden stop to these cables, I think it just looks prettier, and it's not difficult to make. Next I'm going to turn around. Row number 13, it's next on the wrong side of the work, and I'm going to work as usual following the pattern with the exception of these little cables at the beginning. So slip the first one, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next purl 4, because this little cable now has only 4 stitches, so knit purl 4 for it. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then continue in the usual pattern. Knit 3, the segregation stitches between the other cables, and then purl 6 for the usual 3 cables. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I've done another one. I'll continue by knitting the 3 separation ones. 1, 2, and 3. Then purl 6, knit 3, purl 6, knit 3, purl 4 for the last small one, and knit the last 5. I'll meet you on the next row. Next row is row number 14. On the right side of the work, slip the first stitch, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now knit 2 together. So we continue decreasing this tiny cable. So knit 2 together, knit the next 2, and now we finished with this one, and continue to knit as usual until we reach these two here, the last ones from the tiny cables, the last 2 here, and we're gonna knit 2 together again. I have reached these 2 little stitches here from that tiny cable. I'm gonna knit them together, so just knit as they are one, and then knit the remaining 5 to complete the row. And that's it with this row. Turn the work around. Next is row number 15. For row number 15, slip the first stitch, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then purl 3. This is what's left of that cable of 6. It's only 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Then knit 3, the central pattern doesn't change. Purl 6 for the next cable. We have a normal cable here, and continue in the same way. Continue to finish the row. Just remember this little one has only 3 stitches, so we need to purl 3 stitches here. That's it. The rest of it is as usual. I completed my row. Next is row number 16. Slip the first stitch, knit 4, as usual 4, and then we got the 3 stitches left from that cable. I'm gonna knit 2 together, knit 2 together, and knit the rest until we reach these last 2, which we're gonna knit together. So knit all the stitches until we reach these 2. I have knitted these last 2. I'm gonna knit them 2 together as usual, and then knit the remaining stitches to finish off the row. And this was row number 6. I have completed the row and turned my work around. Next row is row number 17, wrong side row. I'm just going to slip the first stitch, knit 4, the usual 4 on the edge, 2, 3 and 4, and now I'm just going to purl these 2 stitches, what's left of that little cable. So purl 2, knit 3, 1, 2 and 3, then purl 6, which is our next cable, and continue like this. As usual, just finishing the row, no decreases on the wrong side. So just purl a 6, now I'm going to knit 3, purl 6, knit 3, purl 6, knit 3, purl 2 for the little one, and knit the last 5 stitches of the row. That row completed. Next is row number 18 on the right side of the work, and it's time to do a cable twist again. Before we do that, just slip the first stitch, knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I have reached these 2, the remaining ones from the cable. I'm going to just twist them around as if to do like a mini cable. So I'm going to pick the stitch in the front and then the one in the back, and I'm going to twist them around like this. Yeah, so they just change position, and then I'm going to knit them together. So I'm going to knit both of them together as if one. Okay, knit the 3, and now I have a normal cable, a 6 stitches cable, which I'm going to twist again. So just twist the cable as usual, either like me or using a spare needle, whichever way you find easier. I'm just gonna knit them in their new order. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I'll continue by knitting the next 3, 1, 2 and 3, and now I'm going to twist the next 2 cables, and I'm going to meet you here for this little one, the 2 stitches one. So I'm gonna do the same, twist my next 2 cables. I have reached the 2 stitches that used to form our cable. I'm going to do exactly the same like I've done on the other end. I'm just going to pick my first stitch through the front and then pick the second stitch through the back of the work, swap them around like this, yeah, so the one in the back comes in the front and the other way around, and now just knit both of them together as if it's only one stitch and knit the remaining 5 stitches to finish this row. Okay, row completed. I'm going to turn the work around, and next is row number 19, wrong side, no decreases, slip the first one, knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, purl 1, what's left of this cable. When we've done the two together, I'm just going to purl this stitch as a reminder of the cable, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, I reached my cable, so purl 6. We still have 3 cables in the center of the panel, 3 normal cables, then 5, this is number 6, and I'm going to continue. I'm going to knit the 3 in between, purl 6, knit 3, purl 6, knit 3 and purl just 1 from here, only 1, and then knit the remaining 5 stitches. I'm going to do this behind the camera. I have completed the row. Next is row number 20, right side of the work and the last row of decreases, and we're going to summarize everything we've done. So slip 1, knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now I'm going to knit this one together with the next stitch, so knit 2 together like this, and then continue to knit across the normal cables until we reach this one and the one before him, which we're gonna knit together. So I'll continue to knit across my cables and the cable separation area, so just knit, normal knit, until I reach those two. I'm on my second cable, and this is the last row of decreases as well. We nearly completed the front panel, not a lot left now, so I'm just doing the third cable, the last one. There we go. And now I have the 3 stitches here to form the separation, so I'm going to knit 2 of them, 1 and 2, and then I'm going to knit next one together with my last one of that old initial cable. So knit them 2 together and knit the remaining 5 stitches. This was the last row of decreases, nearly completed here. So what we done, when we separated the panels, the front and the back, we started with 60 stitches. So after casting off 3 here, because we casted off a total of 6, but 3 of them were from the back panel and 3 from the front. So initially we had 66 stitches between the markers. Then I casted off 3 here, 3 here. We was left with 60 stitches, sorry. And then casted off another 3 at the beginning of this panel, so we was left with 54. and then I've done a total of 7 decreases on each side, and now we ended up with 40 stitches on the needles, and this was the last decrease. So I now have 40 stitches remaining here to complete this leather panel. Next row, row number 21, I'm going to turn the work around, and from now on I'm just going to knit all the stitches, no more decreases. So just knit all the stitches back and forward. Sorry, a little accident here. Okay, so row number 21 on the wrong side, I'm gonna slip the first stitch, and then I'm just gonna knit across the entire row. So slip first one, knit 39. I'm going to knit without any purls. We just finished with the cables and the pattern, the main pattern. I'm going to continue until I finish this row, and then I'm going to knit 4 more rows. So just knit back and forward, finish off this one, and then 4 more, and I'll meet you on at the end of row number 25. So complete this one plus 4 more of just knit back and forward. I have completed a total of 5 rows of just knitting back and forward. This is how it looks like now. And next is my row number 26, and it's going to be a buttonhole row. I'm going to make buttonholes. Well, I'm going to call them buttonholes, but I will actually use, in my case, I decided to use pom-poms instead of buttons. So I'm going to slip the first one, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And from this point I will start doing the buttonhole. In my case, because I've decided to use, I have here some pom-poms, so instead of buttons I decided I'm gonna use 2 pom-poms, so 1 for each side. I'm gonna have to do a bigger buttonhole so the pom-pom can go through. So in my case I will cast off 5 stitches, but if you're using buttons, I also have 2 buttons here. Initially I wanted to use these buttons, and then I changed my mind and I had this beautiful yarn, so I decided to do some pom-poms. If you're gonna use buttons, please just make the buttonhole suitable for your buttons. If they're big like mine, you're probably gonna need to cast off 3 stitches. If they're smaller ones, like medium size, you probably can cast off just 2. And if you're using the tiny ones, you can just do a yarn over followed by a knit 2 together, so the typical buttonhole. In my case I need to make a bigger one. For this one probably a cast off 3 should leave a big enough hole for the button to go through. So this is going to be left for you to evaluate, depending on what kind of buttons you're going to use, or if you use pom-poms, same like I do, depending on the size of the pom-poms that you're using. In my case I think 5 cast off stitches should be enough, hopefully. So I've slipped 1, knitted 4, I'm going to slip the next one, then knit my next stitch and pass the previously slipped one over. So now I casted off 1. Next I'm going to knit 1, pass the previous stitch over, cast off 2, knit 1, pass the previous one over. So I casted off 3 now. 1, pass the previous one. If you're using smaller buttons, that's it, you stop at cast off 2 or 3 or 4, depends on the size of the button that you are using. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 1, pass the previous over, and like this I've just casted off 5. I'm going to continue to knit for now. Knitted until I've reached my last 10 stitches. So I got 10 stitches left on this needle, and now I'm going to cast off for the other buttonhole. I'm gonna slip my next stitch, knit the one after, and then pass the slipped stitch over the one I just knitted to cast off 1 stitch, knit the next one, pass the previous one over, so just casted off 2, knit 1, pass it over, so cast off number 3, knit 1, pass the stitch over, this was cast off number 4, and I'll cast off 1 more, knit 1, pass my stitch over, and now I have 1 stitch left on my needle, which I'm not going to knit again because I've done it already. I'm going to knit the remaining 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have 5 stitches of this side of the buttonhole and also 5 stitches here over the other side of the buttonhole. Now I'm just going to turn the work around. For row number 27, I'm gonna have to compensate for the 5 stitches that I've casted off. So slip the first stitch, knit the next 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm just going to do a loop on my needle, on my left needle. I just made a loop, and I'm going to knit through this loop. There are more elegant ways of doing this, but I prefer to do it like this in this case because it's going to give me the buttonhole is going to be slightly bigger, and the yarn is not going to be so tight to allow my pom-poms to go through. So I've done one. I'm going to do another loop just like that. I place a loop, a twisted loop on the left side needle, and then I just knit through this twisted loop, and I pull my yarn a little bit so I will give some tension to this newly formed loop. Once more, just twist the yarn, place a twisted loop on the left side needle, knit through this loop, and pull the yarn a little bit tighter so it doesn't come too loose. Once again, 1 twisted loop. So in my case I compensate for the 5 knit through the loop for the 5 casted off stitches. If you only casted off twice, 2 stitches, you only have to do this twice or 3 times depending how many stitches you needed to cast off to be suitable for the buttons you're going to use. So I made 4. I'm going to make 1 more, twist the yarn around, place this twisted loop on the left hand side needle, and just knit through it. And there we go, I got 5 here. Now I'm going to knit the rest as usual until I'm going to reach this gap when I'm going to do the same. So just knit across the stitches, and when I reach that gap I'm going to do exactly the same by using the twisted loop. I believe it's called twisted loop method. There are other ways of doing that, but like I said, I prefer to do it like this because it will make the hole slightly looser and will allow my pom-poms to go through easily. Okay, I've knitted the last stitch. Once again, I'll make a twisted loop and I'm going to knit through it. I do it one by one so I can adjust the tension on every newly formed stitch. I don't want it too loose, just a good balance. So I've made another twisted loop. I'm just going to knit it, knit through it. This is loop number 3. Again, and 4. I'm just gonna knit through it, and one more, number 5. Again, I'm just going to knit it through, adjust the yarn tension, and knit my remaining 5 stitches. And now I have compensated for the cast-offs that I made. Okay, turn the work around. Next is row number 28. And I'm just going to knit through all the stitches. So slip the first stitch as usual and then just knit all the stitches, and I'm going to do that until the end of the row, followed by one more row on the wrong side. I'm just going to knit back and forward. So I'll finish off this row and then I'll do one more on the wrong side of knitted stitches. I have completed the 2 knitting rows, and now I just wanted to show you something. So this is how work looks like now. I have here 2 rather large buttonholes. I just want to test if my pom-pom is going through. It should be. Not very easy, but not very hard either. So it goes through and it looks like this. What I wanted to show you, because now based on this, for example, let's say you decided to use buttons. Test your button. Mine goes very easy because the buttonhole is too big. And check how the button is going to look on your fabric. Because if the button is too high above the edge here, just continue to do a couple of more rows of just knitting back and forth, so garter stitch, before we're going to cast off the stitches. If the button sits okay and you're happy, in this case, for example, I'll say at least one more row will be needed, because you don't want the buttons to be right on the edge of the work. You want a little bit of space. So in this case, if I was to use these buttons, I should have worked another 1, possibly 2 rows. In my case, with the pom-poms, it's kind of on the edge, so I am going to do 2 more rows. So this one, which is row number 30 in my case, I'm just going to, it's a right side row, so I'm going to knit all stitches and then come back on the wrong side and knit all stitches again. So I'll do another 2 rows of just knit back and forward before I close the work. I just want to allow a little bit of space for the pom-pom to sit nicely. So I'll do 2 more rows. I have completed the 2 more rows, so now I made a total of 4 more rows after the buttonholes. I think now they're gonna look alright, with a bit more space for the pom-poms to sit in. Yeah, it looks better now. I might trim these pom-poms to make them smaller. I haven't decided yet. I guess at the end I'm just gonna have a look at the whole project. Yeah, so it's going to look like this, and I think it's okay. it will be okay now. So it's time for the cast off. In my case, this is row number 32, and it will be the last row of the work, as I'm going to cast off all stitches. I'm just going to remind you, we have 40 stitches on the needle, so after we done the last decrease down here, I haven't made any other decreases, and I've just worked straight, just the buttonholes, and now I'm going to cast off 40 stitches to all of them, and this will be the last row of this front panel. So slip the first one, same like in all the cast offs so far, knit one and slip the previous one over, knit the next one, slip the previous one, knit the next one, pull the previous one across, over, knit one, and that's it. And I'm just gonna carry on like this. I have completed my row of cast offs. This is how it looks like, and I have my last stitch here on the needle, and I'm just going to detach the yarn. So I'm gonna cut it off and pull it through this loop and tie it into a little knot. This one I'm gonna hide at the end. I'm gonna hide this tail. So this is how the work looks like so far, and this is the front panel, and now we're gonna have to do the back panel. So this is how it is. Here are the legs like this. This is the front cabled pattern, and now next we're gonna focus our attention on finishing off the panel in the back, here where I left the stitches on hold or on a holder.